Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 15th installment of the Fuel Injection podcast. And it is our brand new segment, Idle Banter, with Damon Matharu, Doug F., and Cody Wagner. So welcome, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well.
I didn't have breakfast. I need breakfast. No.
Neither did I, so I'm on the same program as you.
I haven't ate either.
So yeah, all three of us. Damon, did you have breakfast this morning or no?
Yeah, because 5 o'clock in the UK.
Oh, well
so never mind.
Several hours ago. Yeah.
So just before the podcast started, we were talking about a poll that Layla did about which one do we prefer, the DB5 or the E-Type? Damon said he preferred the E-Type Roadster, and I'm normally a coupe guy, hardcore, but I'm actually gonna have to agree, because for me, the coupe, there's a little weird design element on the door where it just comes up vertically, and it's just a really, really strange look. So I actually have to go for the Roadster as well. Although to be fair though, I really like the Eagle Speedster. I think that's gorgeous.
That one is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, agree.
Definitely.
I think the hardtop though catches that true teardrop long hood shape, and that is something in especially my vintage cars. I love that long hood bonnet. Where are you from? That rounded teardrop in the back. It makes it feel like you're sitting over the back wheels. I don't know. I love that look, especially in old British cars. They've done it so well, and the E-Type is just to me the pinnacle of that. So having that little hard top at the back and stuff does add that extra line that when you have the convertible you take out of it. And I like the convertible. I think the convertible is a beautiful car, but it just becomes very flat when the top's down, and that top up gives you that extra line, and that I don't know how to describe it. I just love it. I think they look better.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree with you, because to me the roof completes the entire look of a car. That's why I normally prefer hardtops. We used to actually have a E-Type, a silver E-Type in the neighborhood, and then I haven't seen it for like 3 years. But that was a gorgeous car.
Was it a hardtop or was it a convertible?
It was a hardtop.
Nice.
So that's where I started liking that, and then after I noticed that little weird bulge on top of the door, I was like, the E-Type was almost perfect!
Why did you do that? Yeah.
On top though, I was 9, so it was destroyed quite quickly.
Oh, feels bad. Also, actually, before we started recording, Damon was showing us his little Model E-Type and the package that it came in. And even the packaging was in the shape of an E-Type.
That's great.
It was, yeah. That's honestly, I mean, that's cool. Even like the little model, like 1/38 scale or whatever, little model diecast E-Types come in this box that looks like an E-Type. So it's this E-Type in a plastic thing that looks like an E-Type. So it's almost like you're getting 2 E-Types out of the deal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You can't get enough of it. You just
Yeah, exactly.
And there's one up where my mom and dad live here in town. A bright, fire engine red one. It cruises through, and the guy keeps all the chrome absolutely polished. And it'll hurt your eyes when it goes up the hill. And I don't care what you're doing. You could be digging a ditch or chopping down trees. You stop and watch that car go by. And it's a convertible, and it's fire engine red with that beige brown top. It's beautiful, and I've been out in that yard doing all kinds of work, and whatever you're doing, you just stop and listen and watch, and then when it's out of sight and out of hearing range, you go back to doing what you're doing. It's just one of them cars that almost demand that attention.
You just have to like pause, give it its little glory moment, and then move on with your day. Just like set some time to just look at that and go, dang, that is quite fantastic.
That's any performance Jaguar. XJRs, XKRs, any of them. You just got to stop listen most of the time, because V8s are very good sounding.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'm fine. I was gonna say, we've been bantering on now over the E-Type. Question. Okay, we all love the car, But what other car would you choose to put in that class of beautiful car? Okay, what other car would you put?
Ooh, well, could it be anything? Like any vehicle ever made?
Any car. It could be a modern one that you think in 80 years is still going to look just the E-Type. It looks beautiful today as it did then. What has that?
I'm gonna say Concorde. Not a car, but I think Concorde.
I'm gonna go with the Bugatti Type 57. That's a bit older than the E-Type. That's like a 30s, 40s type car, but that still, 60, 70 years down the line, still looks fantastic to me. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm not sure about any modern car. I haven't thought about that yet. But as for classics,
I'm trying to think of
Bugatti.
So.
I'm really, really, really biased, and I've thought about this before. But for me, it has to be the Gen 5 Viper. Anyone who knows me knows that's not going to be a surprise.
Your Skype name is Big Viper Node, so
oh God. Yeah, that's true.
I would hope you'd have something to say about the Viper.
I will. Yeah. Going on profile pictures, the 2000s crop of Alphas, I think, maybe not quite E-Type level, but they're going to age really well because they have the circular headlights inside headlight housing, but it's open, and I think that still doesn't look dated to this day, even though it's a 15-year-old car.
Yeah.
5.9 in my profile picture is a great-looking saloon car or sedan, but the Brera and the Spider, which was a Brera with the roof dropped off at the time, those I think are going to age beautifully well.
Yeah.
Speaking of Alphas, I wanted to say, sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to say the 8C and the modern touring Disco Volante. Both of those, I just thought of those as Damon was mentioning the Alphas. I just thought of those. I think those are going to age quite well. Two models, I think that are going to age quite well.
I think Alphas from 2015 got their styling game better than a lot of the rest. Like Cody was saying that all the 2000s cars look the same. I think he said that at some point. He didn't like, but I think the Alphas distinguished themselves quite well and get away from that. And I don't think you guys got the majority of the normal cars, which we did, which was 159, the Mito, which the Mito didn't.
Yeah,
but
Alpha didn't exist here.
They're really cool, and their quality got somewhat increased, so you could actually drive them.
Okay, Cody, on the Viper thing, it's the same thing as the E-Type. You have an extremely long hood with that little teardrop back end.
Yep.
And, is there a correlation to that? I mean, because to me there is.
It's that golden ratio, isn't it? Massive bonnet, then driver's cabin just behind the middle, and then small little boot at the back. Same 240Z looks so cool, second gen Camaros, fastback Mustangs, all that. It's got a ratio.
I'm a sucker for those long hood, short rear kind of cars, and what I love about the Gen 5 is it's got this Coke bottle shape, so it's raised where the hood and the rear fender are, and then it dips in the middle. I love that. So the 68 to 70 Charger kind of has that, even though it's nowhere near as pronounced. But yeah, to me, the Gen 5 just invokes all of the best lines of all the classic 60s racers, like the Ferrari 250 GTO and the like, and to some extent the Daytona Coupe.
Oh, the Daytona! That, you know what? I was lucky enough to see a Daytona in the flesh, on the streets by where I live, and that is quite that is one sleek vehicle. I have to say, how it like goes up. There's this kind of general upwards slant, and then it kind of goes in the back to this kind of I don't even know how to describe it. It's like this kind of squarish shape in the back. It's nice. It's nice.
Okay, if I had to say a car, I have two actually. One older, one semi newer. And the Lamborghini Miura is still that car will never get old. When we're flying around in little jets and spaceships, I'll still look back at the Miura going, why can't we make cars look like that again? You know?
Absolutely.
The other one is oh God, if I'm wrong, I'm going to get roasted here. I believe it's the Mark IV Supra. Car still looks as good today. I mean, if Toyota just put new brakes and drivetrain in that car and released it with the body it had then, it still looked just as good and modern today.
Is that the one just before the new one?
Yeah.
One like mid to late 90s, I think. Yeah.
I think I'll go with you with that because it's quite contemporary. It's not like let's say the Mitsubishi 3000 GT where it's quite radical. The Supra, the Mark IV anyway, is very kind of conservatively designed so it can last the test of time.
Yeah. So the original chrome wheels are very dated, but put some modern wheels on it and it still looks like a current car. Mm-hmm. And actually, of that, I'd say the S2000 as well, because that came out in 1999.
Yeah.
Big yes.
Okay, well, how about the last gen Mazda RX-7s?
Oh.
Hey, Clark,
if we're getting on to JDM, I think I have to agree with you. Those.
I
think I have to agree with you though. That my dad had one of those, and it did look very. It was contemporary, but yet it had some elements of these like 60s and 70s classic cars, like the E-Type with the mirror. Just like little hints of it, little hints of design elements. Yeah.
It is definitely, I think, the most beautiful car to come out of Japan since the 2000 GT.
Yeah.
Oh, the 2000 GT. Yes, that's actually another kind of E-Type look. Long hood, short rear. That's another one.
Yeah.
That was definitely Japan's E-Type for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what happened was E-Type got made, and then Japan built the 240 and the 2000 GT, and America made the Mustang and the second gen Camaro. I think the E-Type spawned a lot of similar shaped cars.
In comparison, I would also say, if you went back, the 240Z, the Datsun 240Z, that was a good looking car.
Oh, yes.
It still is a good looking car.
Yeah.
Once they got up past the 280, they started getting big, but when they was still the original small little car, those were some sharp looking cars.
They were, yeah. And I think this is why I'm excited about the new 400Z, is it kind of brings back those design elements from the 240 and the 280 and slightly modernizes them and brings it into a new, modern, very contemporary look.
That'd be great.
Yeah, the 400Z, that one's, I like it, but it's also kind of weird to me because it melds so many different elements from all the previous Z cars. So you have the 240Z front, you have the 300Z rear, you have the quarter window shape of the 370Z where it kind of kinks up there. But then when you look at it from like a top-down rear three-quarter view, it sort of looks like it's a mid-cabin car like a 350, even though in the other photos it's not. So it's quite a combination of designs, but they've done it so well. The only view I really don't like is that top-down rear three-quarter view. The rest of it, I think it's brilliant.
Well, you think you're going to be followed by a helicopter and people get a bad view? I mean,
it just looks kind of strange from that angle. Like it's like the cabin's in the middle of the car.
I see what you mean. It is, but you know what it is. It's like the greatest hits of all the Nissan Z cars, all melded into one.
It's a greatest hits album.
It is a full greatest hits album. Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, the newest Z's from the 350, the 370, I haven't really been a fan of. To me, the Z car was at its peak when it was still in like the 240, 260, the when it first come out. Mm-hmm. I had a cousin that had a 300Z, and it was all right. It had so many electrical problems, though. I mean, oh my God, the electrical problem. You thought the thing was British. It was horrible. Other than that, it was a great car, I guess, if you get it to work right. It just...
If you got it to like start up and get out of the driveway, you could.
That's what it is.
The lights would kick on and off turns. It was bugged with electrical issues. But other than that, mechanically, it was fine.
I might have got into an argument on Instagram with someone who's from Italy about Alfa Romeo's reliability. And from what I can work out, in Italy it's fine because it's a warm climate all the time, but as soon as you bring them to anywhere with a bit of water, the electrics get ruined and it rusts. And I think that's why Italian cars got such a bad rep, because anywhere with any bit of water and they rust to pieces, thin steel and stuff.
So warm, dry climates, that's what Alpha's like. Okay. I
Well,
think that's to bear that in mind. Anywhere that's like a flood zone, snow, hail,
Don't buy an Alfa Romeo.
lakes and sea, don't buy an Alpha.
See,
Right.
but you say that it just snowed where I am. It just did last night.
Yep.
I guess that means no Alpha
But
for
yet
me
you're
then.
sitting here in a black t-shirt and a cool-looking hat.
Okay, but the thing is, it's really hot in my room. All the heat culminates in my room, and I'm a warm body, which makes it worse. I have a hard time staying cool. But actually, to your point, Doug, about the electronics, that kind of makes me wonder if a lot of like really early 90s cars have a lot of electrical problems, because some of the electronics were from the 80s. Because Mitsubishi, well, the 3000 GT, those electrics are going to go eventually. The Nissan 3000 GT, I'd imagine most of the early 90s Chrysler stuff, because that's still K-car technology for the most part. The Spirit, the Shadow, etc. I don't know about GM, probably Ford as well. I wonder if it's just safe to say that a lot of 80s electronics was pretty crap because everyone was starting to add electronics into their cars and didn't know what to do.
It's like car manufacturers discovered electricity.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, we can do this now.
Yeah. Well,
150 years down the line.
if I can say, okay, I was born in 1974. So the 80s, I know about the back seats of 80s cars because I was growing up, okay? And all 80s cars were basically crap. It's just I grew up there.
Except the Countach.
The Renos when they were over here. And they're all junk. I mean, really, they're such a letdown. I look back, it's like 80s music. It's just terrible. The 80s were bad because I lived in the 80s. They were bad. Cars were bad just in style-wise. Their mechanics were okay. Go ahead.
I like the style of 80s cars, but I'm going to counter Layla's point. Have you heard of the horror stories of people driving Countachs around? They're terrible to drive, from what I hear.
Well, that's even like the Porsches in the 80s. Were just dangerous. I mean, they were just, people get out here and romp them around. Had no idea. Next thing you know, they're in ditches, upside down in fields, wrapped around a tree. Cars back then were just bad. And especially now, since I lived that part, and now we look at where we're at now. When my icons growing up, the posters I had on my wall, the Testarossas, the Countachs, those cars can now be beat by your modern sedan. Your modern Hyundai could almost outrun them, and it's sad. It really.
You get like a Hyundai Veloster N, you could probably thrash a Countach or a Testarossa. Yeah.
I like the Veloster N though. That one's I like it except for its stupid asymmetrical doors. That gets the mess on my nerves. Why couldn't you just add two doors? It's like
it's been improved with the new design. I think it's not as bad as the old one. The old one was just, I was like, what did they do? Like, did they employ a blind man to design this?
It's like the first
but the new one isn't as bad.
I'm not bothered to draw the other door. Let's just rub that line out.
The old Veloster was like a slightly aerodynamicized Soul, kind of squarish, but with a not as square front end. But
slightly less ugly and slightly smaller, slightly shorter wheelbase Kia Soul. You know what the Kia Soul is? It's a toaster oven.
Yes.
It's a South Korean toaster oven. Yeah. That's all it is.
It's terrible. And the thing of it is, electronics are becoming more and more a part of cars, clear down to, our Teslas. I mean, they're just completely electronic. And looking back, electronics in cars have never been truly, reliable. They're 93% reliable. Electronics, take our cell phones, okay? Does it work constantly all the time? No. Look at what happened today. Prime example. And Yeah, and that's a fear of, like, okay, if we ever got forced into, say, like a Tesla, completely electric car. Well, if that thing's half as reliable as my cell phone is, we're in trouble. It's just we're in trouble.
The non-electric bitch, right? I mean, the roof started coming off some of them, and the steering wheel fell off one.
Yeah, I was just reading an article about a recall for the roof issue, and that was kind of strange to me.
That's a issue on the road you roof.
Fast and How are you going to design a complicated set of electronics to run an entire electric car?
Yeah. You know, I think Tesla's they've had their ups and downs. I think they've done some good things, but in my opinion, it's mostly been things that either aren't completely necessary or that haven't quite panned out the way that they hoped it would. So it was just a bit crap. It was like, why did you do that? What was your main goal with that? What were you thinking?
Tesla's get a bad rep for reliability, but really it's just normally when they launch a car they have teething problems. The thing is, they launch a car every 6-7 months now, so as soon as their reports just start clearing up about all the reliability issues, they release another car, more teething issues, and they're back getting berated again from terrible build quality.
Yeah.
That whole mentality of, we got this product, we just created it, we're going to release it, find out what all the problems are, and then we'll fix it.
That's
horrible.
That's what video games are.
You'll be driving down the highway, you'll blow up, and then we'll fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how did that work for Chrysler Corp?
Horrible accident, and then we'll fix the issue.
At least they got around fixing it, unlike BMW, those rod bearings and the M5.
Yeah, I have to say though, I do admire Tesla for pushing the industry towards more electric cars. Now, as a petrolhead, let me say this: as a petrolhead, that does make me sad. That's not exactly a future that I want, but at the same time,
it's better for the rest of the people. More petrol for us, really.
Yeah, and they made electric cars more popular. They showed through the Model S that you could actually get an electric car that had decent range, that didn't look like the Leaf. And I would want to give the best looking electric car award to the Tesla Model S, but I think the Fisker Karma actually beat it out.
Oh, definitely. I have to agree with you on that.
But
yeah, the Fisker is just fantastic.
Yeah. The thingy that Hammond drove in the Grand Tour.
Mm-hmm. The only annoying thing about Fisker is that they keep going from name to name to name. They were Fisker, and they were Karma Automotive. They're Karma Automotive now. I thought they were Rivera or something, but no, that was just their rebranded Karma. Yeah. I feel the same way about the Fisker Karma as I do about the Pagani Zonda. If you're gonna kill it already. Get it over with. But if you're not gonna kill it, then please stop saying you're going to kill it. It's sort of like when Daniel Craig and James Bond says, "This is the last Bond I'm gonna do. No more me and James Bond," and then he does like 2 more movies. It's like, stop. Just get some help.
If you're gonna quit.
Yeah.
It's like Rolling Stones retirement tour.
Retirement home.
Exactly. It just kept going on and on.
All the way down
1 year later.
Exactly. 6 months later, we're still on tour.
Roger Moore with his Esprit, and then you have whichever person did the BMW era. I'm not very versed well in Bond films. And he has a car which is paint peeling off and electronics fried because late 90s BMW.
Mm-hmm. No, actually, David, I want to get back to an earlier point about the Alfa Romeo. With Alfa Romeo's square front ends, like in the 154, I think Alfa Romeo actually tried to go back to that very recently with the tonal, where they went, not that they did the circular headlights, but it was a more squared off front end, and the grille kind of goes into the V shape. I
do like it. I wouldn't pick it because it's an SUV, but if I had to pick an SUV, it would be that one.
Yeah.
I think it's the first SUV I've gone, wow, that might be a car I want to own.
Yeah. The most unfortunate thing about it, though, was the name. Because it's Tonal. I had a few people on a forum I'm on said, yeah, toenail.
Yeah.
Toenail.
I was like, God dang it, you had to ruin a good thing.
Oh, no.
I've got a toenail.
Oh, God.